So let's have a little chat, shall we? So I was thinking, as I oftentimes do, channeling, thinking, whatever. And I was thinking about something. And I was thinking about the bigger picture and how oftentimes the bigger picture is not seen or it's missed. Because there's always, as everyone knows, a bigger picture to something that we oftentimes may overlook, mislook, or don't look at all. Here's where I'm going. I've always been intrigued by Madeline Murray O'Hare. For those people who don't know, she was a white woman, of course. And for those people who don't know, she was the woman that America hated the most. She was titled America's Most Hated Woman back in the 60s and 70s. She was also the founder of the American Atheist Association or something like that. I think that's the name of it, the organization. I don't know if the organization is still in existence today. It might be, not sure. But to make a long story short, Madeline Murray O'Hare made national news here in America in the 60s and the 70s because she spoke out against people being forced to say children in particular, being forced to say prayers in school. She did not want her children being subjected to that, and she felt as though that her being an American citizen, that violated the First Amendment right. Okay? So, it was a big political debacle, and eventually it went to the Supreme Court because she was in Baltimore at the time. She was living in Baltimore, and I think she was a single mother. She was a single mother, and she took that shit all the way to the Supreme Court, and she won. She won. And they made it unconstitutional for people to be forced to say prayers in school. Now, I know a lot of people probably say, well, she was this or she was that, or she embezzled this or she embezzled that. Put that to the side for a minute. Because, see, I'm looking at the big picture. I'm looking at the bigger picture and what she symbolically represented. And I know I'm talking about a white woman, but she's always intrigued me because she had that motherfucking nigga fucking energy. That's why I'm talking about her. She had that revolutionary type of motherfucking energy. And truth be told, I think that was a nigga in white skin. She had that revolutionary type of motherfucking energy. And there was a movie about her on Netflix. There was a biographical movie about her life on Netflix. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in one part of that movie, she did mention something along the lines of revolutionary. But the reason I'm really talking about her is for several reasons. I'll get to the point. Y'all know how I do. Just stay with me. The reason why I'm talking about her is because I found some things very interesting about her. Although people said she was a nasty, narcissistic motherfucking person, but when I really thought about it, I said, well, wait a minute. She got shit done. This isn't about me liking her personality because I didn't know the lady. This isn't about me agreeing with, atheism. That has nothing to do with it. I don't agree with it, nor do I disagree with it. I really don't give a fuck what other people think. But I'm looking at it from a revolutionary standpoint, and how she also, in a sense, she tried to show black people, hey, listen, these people that are discriminating against you. When she was in Baltimore, These people that are discriminating against you because there was a big there was I think it was a restaurant or something called White Tower or something in Baltimore back during that time, and they would not allow black people to eat there. They wouldn't allow black people to eat in those restaurants or that particular restaurant. I don't know. And they were marching and shit like that. She joined in and she made a statement that was very true. She said, I bet you they're Christians. All of these racists, I bet you they're Christians. That really struck a chord with me to hear her say that, especially coming from a woman like her. Not to mention that she took in a gay black guy. She took him under her wing. She took care of him, gave him a job because his black family, they put him out for being gay because they're Christians. And you know, black people are horrible motherfucking homophobics. They are malicious. They are horrible motherfuckers. And let me rephrase that, homophobic towards gay black people. They love gay white people, especially you black men. You love them. You love gay white men, but you hate and you murder and you kill gay black people. But Madeline Murray O'Hare, let me get back on topic. Madeline Murray O'Hare, she took this guy in. You know, she took him in, gave him a job, and helped him to uplift himself. And she really loved him. But her spirit came to me last night. And she said, Seer, you need to see the bigger picture. I said, well, what are you, now that I gave you the synopsis of who she was? She said, you need to see the bigger picture. She said, my family, my son, myself, my granddaughter, we weren't just murdered by some money-hungry white thugs. The one who worked for her named David Warner. We weren't just murdered. We were sacrificed and we were assassinated. The bigger picture. I said, oh. She said, think about this. She said, think about this, Seer. Think of the woman that I was when I was Madeline Murray O'Hare. Think about the power that I had. Think about the loose cannon that I was with my mouth. Can you imagine me living today as that type of person? Can you imagine me being that type of force today? In a world where all of the elites and their secrets are being exposed. See, I'm going to tell y'all something. Madeline Murray O'Hare, she knew a lot of the secrets of these motherfuckers in power who call themselves Christians. She knew a lot of secrets on a lot of these powerful political people that have connections to Christianity. She knew their secrets. So they took her out. They took her son out and they took her granddaughter out. That was not just an attempt to extort money from them. The guys that actually kidnapped Madeline, her son, and her granddaughter Robin, I can't think of the son's name right now, but it was Madeline. Think of the number 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 is a very powerful occult number. That's a number of manifestation and many different things. 3 is a powerful number. Okay? Her son, Madeline, and her granddaughter, Robin. They murdered them. They suffocated them. And then they cut their bodies up and buried them somewhere in Texas on some ranch or something. That was not just because they were going to give them the money. They were going to give them the money. See, the guys, Madeline and her son, they were cooperating. According to the bank records, they were transferring a lot of this money over to these criminals. one of whom worked for them. And they tried to play this narrative that David Warner, he killed Madeline, or he did this because Madeline had wrote a scathing article some years prior about how David Warner beat up and attacked his own mom or something like that. That was the distraction. That was what do they call it? That was mind control to get people off track, so people couldn't see who was really behind their deaths. So Madeline Murray O'Hare and her granddaughter Robin and her son, she has a son that's still alive, by the way, at least as far as I know, but he separated from her years ago and didn't want anything to do with her and became a Christian. They were murdered by the elites, the government, whatever you want to call it. And the people that actually did it, David Warner and all those other, thugs, they were just the hands that did it. But they weren't the hand behind the curtain. Obviously, I was getting ready to say we were taken out, see the spirit still channeling. They were taken out because they were powerful forces. They were powerful voices. Yeah, they may have been white, but so what? Because she was bringing a lot of truth and enlightenment to people about Christianity and about being God in your own life. See, that's really what she was bringing forth. How to be God in your own life and stop praising something out there that does not exist. At least not that deity from that Christian Bible. Let me say that. See, Madeline promoted being God in your own life, and she was a powerful woman. Despite her character flaws, I'm not looking at character or integrity. I'm looking at the big picture. And that's what she keeps telling me. She keeps saying, Seer, you can't look at character flaws. All human beings have character flaws. I don't give a fuck what none of you motherfuckers say. Everybody has character flaws. It's just that some people have them worse than others. She said, Seer, you have to look at it like this. Humanity is a degenerate cesspool of shit sometimes. Yeah, I made mistakes. That's what she was telling me. Yeah, I made mistakes. But to her core, she was trying to bring change to people's hearts and people's minds. And on top of that, she had secrets. That's why they killed her. That wasn't an extortion attempt. That was an assassination. The same thing they did to Darren Seals. Say his name. The same thing they did to Darren Seals. So you can imagine the power and the fear that these politicians and these elites, I'm not saying it the right way, you can imagine the power that she had and the fear that she instilled in these powerful Christians and politicians. They're the ones who orchestrated her death, and they sacrificed her, her son, and her granddaughter. She kept saying to me, Seer, this was a sacrifice. We were sacrificed. That was a hit and an assassination. It was not an extortion gone wrong. Because those guys, they were working for somebody who was behind the scenes. See, Madeline Murray O'Hare was a nonconformist. She spoke what was on her motherfucking mind. She said what the fuck she meant, and she meant what the fuck she said. And you gotta have respect for a person like that. I don't give a fuck about her skin color. I don't care nothing about that. Sometimes you have to look beyond skin color and look at the spirit and the energy. She told people, look, you do, under the First Amendment, if I'm not mistaken, you do not have to accept your children saying prayers in school, especially if you're not a Christian. You don't have to accept that. And that made her the most hated woman in America. that made her the most feared woman and person in America. And I didn't even break down the occult numbers and stuff like that went along with the sacrifice. I'm sure that I could. Let me see something. Let me see. Give me a second. I don't want to lose track. Let me see. And when y'all hear me yelling like that, I'm not angry. That's just passion. That's channeling, passion. Okay? Let me see something. Let me see something. Give me 1 second. I'm looking up something. She died in she was assassinated in 1995. Okay? She was assassinated in 1995. There we go. She was assassinated in 1995. When you break down 1995, it comes out. Let me go back. When you break down 1995, 19 plus 95 comes to 114. Okay? And we're going to keep this simple because I don't want to be here all fucking day. 19 plus 95 is 114. Plus 3 is 117. Okay? Now, let's do this. Let's break down 117 to the single digit. Comes out to 18. And 1 plus 8 is 9. So they killed them. They killed 3 of them. They killed 3 of them. And you know 9 and 3 and 3 and 9 and 6, all of those numbers are intertwined in a sense, okay? They killed 3 of them. They killed them in 1995. And then when you break those numbers down, when you take the year that they were murdered in 1995 and you add it to the number of people that were killed, which was 3, it breaks down to 117. And then when you break it down further, it comes out to the number 9. What is 9? 9 is the number of completion, rebirth, endings. Okay? So it's obvious that that was not only just an assassination, that was a sacrifice. It's obvious looking at those numbers alone. I'm pretty sure I can look up some other shit and really see that, what was going on. But whenever you see 9, you know that there's something going on as far as the occult. Because 9 is a powerful occult number. 9 is also the number that Oya corresponds with. Who else? La Santa Sima Mamawete, Tefnut. All of these deities are deities of death, completion, rebirth. So at the end of the day, it's about the bigger picture. It's about the bigger picture and not just what we think we saw. Madeline Murray O'Hare was the bigger picture. She was the bigger picture, and she was showing people the bigger picture. And that's why they murdered her. And then, too, they could not have a white woman. They couldn't have no white woman showing that, giving that type of power and mentorship and that type of love and compassion to no motherfucking black people. They couldn't have her doing that. They had to take her out. And they took out her, and it's interesting, if you notice, they took out her son and her granddaughter because they really don't want that genetic line to keep going. They don't want that genetic line to keep going. Because at the end of the day, no matter what people may feel about her or whatever, she was a powerful motherfucking woman that told truth. And she was telling people that your rights were being violated, especially your First Amendment rights, which is kind of what's happening now. Our First Amendment rights are being violated. And that's what she really wanted to come around and say. So can you imagine having a force like her alive today in 2020? 25, I think it's 25 years after her death. About 25 years after her death. Because she was murdered in 1995. So I just wanted to come through and I just wanted to say that. The bigger picture. The bigger picture. Anyway, this is Sia Grant, aka The Occult View. And that's all I have to say.